Hello, and how are you today? This is TrackMind TV, and this is the Flashpoint Show, a segment of TrackMind TV where we have real, candid, and transparent conversations that are aimed at encouraging, motivating, and even challenging you as an individual. Now, we all have struggles in life. We have things that we do not want to talk about. We have memories that we just want to forget, and that is life. But as a leader, how do you unmask your vulnerability but still remain a strong leader who can be depended on? To answer this question, I am joined by an amazing guest by the name Joel Mutua, who is also a CEO of IDEX. And so we are going to learn more about what IDEX is and what it does, among many other things that are involved in leadership and vulnerability, especially for you as a Christian. Welcome, Joel.
Thank you, Grace.
Yes, karibu sana.
Yes.
How are you feeling today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. How's your weekend?
My weekend was good. Relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
I can't compare it to the previous one. I actually decided to go for zip lining.
All right.
It was amazing.
How was it?
It was amazing.
Ni wapi huko?
The forest. Yeah.
And I'll see you after this.
Yeah.
Goes well. So, who is Joel?
My name is Joel. I am passionate about leadership.
Okay.
And my purpose is to transform followers into leaders who are agents of change.
All right.
And I believe everybody is a leader at an area of gifting.
Okay.
That is Joel, and I'm a follower of Christ.
Oh, right. That's very important. Your last point. Ni muhimu.
Yes.
That is awesome. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Nairobi.
Yeah.
And we have a farmhouse in Makueni.
All right.
Yes.
So when you born Nairobi? Botao.
Botao.
Okay, so as a child, Joel, what did you want to be?
I wanted to be a pilot. Well, you can see that's not working very well right now.
We all start there.
Yeah, so I wanted to be a pilot. Yeah, and that's the problem now. Because if you are comfortable today with what you were comfortable with yesterday, you're already in trouble. Nobody ever went uphill by accident. To go uphill, you have to be intentional with what you do and who you are.
All right.
A lot of time as leaders, we are actually not leaders. Everybody, adults, they are in a place where they are wearing that mask that they were given by their parents. Going through life. Chasing dreams that it's not their dream, and they're not going to be productive, because it's not your dream. It's not your calling, right? So you have to find your dream and be very intentional, and it's all uphill, right? So you have to be very intentional, because most people are attached to the emotion. They want to make their parents proud, something like that, Yeah, so
So from a pilot to
knowing my purpose in life, which is transforming followers into leaders who are agents of change.
Okay.
And helping them tap into their full potential. And then pursuing it, and serving.
Then IDEX comes in. What is it about?
So Ideas Exchange is an initiative that I started with the mission of transforming followers into leaders who are agents of change.
Okay.
And we have a vision of building an incubator company. But for now, we have events in town, monthly events where we have coaches, we have mentors, and we have people come to gain knowledge.
Okay, and it's open to the public?
Yeah, it is.
Yes. we will let you know how you can join that. For sure. Because it's very important. So, you're 24?
Yeah.
24?
23.
23.
Yeah.
And you're a CEO of a company. What was I doing with my life at 20?
And also it depends on the size of the company.
So when did this idea hit you? Because if at 23 you're managing a company, then means probably you had the idea at 20.
That's a good estimate. So you build up to things And when you're building a house, you don't start with the top brick. You know, it starts
foundation.
The foundation, right?
Yeah.
So when I finished high school, I always talk about this. I did a program called Boma, which nurtured me to be vibrant in purpose, anchored in my principles, mature in person, and unveiling my potential.
Okay.
So when I did that program, I was very ambitious and inquisitive, and I was filled with purpose. I was filled with passion.
Okay.
So I started orchestrating events. I did my first event. I had around 800 youths.
Wow.
And then now I decided to transition into transforming followers into leaders who are agents of change, right? Because that's my passion and that's my purpose. And that's where it all began, because I was always entrepreneurial in my thinking, and I wanted to build big.
Okay.
Yeah.
So after high school, then Roma, and that's now where the passion for leadership was instilled in you, or you realize this is what I want to do. And have you found yourself in situations where people are like, you're too young, you're just dismissed because you're too young, or in a meeting, sometimes it's not even dismissal, but it's just the way people are looking at you. You can see anywhere they're looking down. They may not tell it to you, but this kind of feeling. Have you found yourself in that situation?
Yeah, I did. I found myself in that situation for very many times. But I always had this mantra. I used to say that, but now it doesn't bother me. When I was 20, I remember I was facilitating a program called Man Enough in Nairobi Chapel. Okay. And that was around 100 men, right?
Oh, right.
And they're old enough to be my fathers, and I am teaching them, right?
About manhood.
About manhood, right? So when I transitioned from Nairobi Chapel to Mavuno, I remember Mavuno was a smaller gathering, so we had around 20-30 men. And so I was very experienced, you know, when you're handling 100 men and then you handle 20 men, and you have connections as well. So I used to bring in very articulated facilitators, you know, and then this one day we talk about my age. And then the guys ask, how old are you by the chance? And then I say, I am 21. I am 20. And they're like, no, that's a lie.
You can't be.
That's because they were disappointed. They were disappointed.
It's not even shock.
It's not shock. They're disappointed. How are we led by someone who's 20?
Yeah.
20?
What are you
Because they thought I'm 30.
Yeah.
You know? And at that time I was very serious, because even Sunday I did not dress down. I was always very sharp on suits.
So you actually look 30.
I look 30. So yeah, I mean, when you talked about it, I actually pulled out my ID.
They couldn't
believe it. And then they started looking down, and then they raised contempt towards me. I had to leave because I mean, if I was stuck to that phase, I would not grow, you know, and I would not go to the next level of my life. And after leaving, I actually met good mentors who gave me a chance to sit in those boardrooms, you know, with very respectable people, and they made sure I speak in that boardroom. So that's why I raised my confidence, and that's how I became confident about my age, because maturity does not come with age. Sometimes age comes alone, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what I'm getting is the aspect of having mentors, the importance of having mentors, because people who will be like, no, Joel, your age is not the thing here. People will speak you into believing in yourself. It's very important. So that's one of the ways that you handle that. Because there are young people out here who they've been looked down on because of their age, and they stop there like, Mrs. Yendelena, wamenikata, but just having those people who encourage you, and also understanding, sticking to your purpose,
and actually, you know, the epitome of your success is in your youth, and when you're young, and when you're vibrant. And that's why Westerners build big businesses. They allow the young people to get the platform. So we Africans should get to a place where they allow young people to take. And actually my mentors are people who, are not from around, so they speak life into me, and I think globally, right?
And you accept.
And I accept it.
Because it's one thing to be told, and it's another one to take it positive.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, as a leader now, and I believe you have people who work under you, how do you express your perspective of things without making without seeming insensitive?
Oh, that's a very good question. As a leader. So I have to direct this to as a leader.
As a leader who is being looked up to them.
Perspective, when you look at giving someone perspective, it's all about connecting. What is connecting? Connecting is the ability to identify and relate to people in such a way that it increases your influence with them.
Wow.
Okay? The basic principle about connecting is that it's not about you, it's not about me, it's all about others. So most leaders are on top of the mountain and they're telling people, come on folks, come. I'm up here, right? I'm up here. That's what leaders do, right? Yeah. You've heard the expression, it's lonely at the top?
Yeah. But I've never...
A leader never said that.
Yeah.
A leader never said that. You're the top all alone, nobody's following you. You're the top all alone, you're not a leader, you're a hiker. You're hiking. So when you're at the top, a leader should go where the people are and then connect with them. And guess what? When you go where the people are, you help them go to the top together. That's why leaders don't cross the finish line fast. People who cross the finish line fast are running alone.
Okay, so as a leader, you're at the back.
You are at the you leave the mountain top, and then go where the people are. You remember what connecting is?
Yeah, and come with them.
And then come with them, show them this is where I passed, this is where I stepped. Don't go this way because there's a very thorny bush there. So that's leadership. Wow. So you are talking about giving perspective. So if you want to give your perspective to people, first of all, know that it's not about you, it's not about me, it's all about others. Zig Ziglar said this: if you want to help people, first get what they want, and they will help you get everything that you want. Okay. So if you want to share your perspective and if people don't feel insensitive, get off where you are, go where others are, and connect with them and start asking questions. Wow. Don't give your perspective first, know their perspective first. Seek first to understand before you are understood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because for some of us, the understanding we have of leadership is nimesema mwende hivi, nimesema mwende hivi. It's actually about the people. What do they want? Then now from that you're able to make a decision. Yeah. Wow, I like that. And how do you have you struggled with self-image yourself? Because you seem very confident from the day I met you. Have you struggled with self-image at one point, or low self-esteem, or have you always been that person who believed in yourself throughout?
Yeah, that's I mean, when I was growing up, and when I discovered that my purpose and my passion and my leaning is on leadership. On the dinner table, conversation will arise about leadership, right? Right. And then I will talk about it passionately. And I remember this one statement that one of my sisters used to say, and it really broke my heart. He was really, but I mean, I did not understand emotional intelligence at that time. I was learning, right? One of my sisters used to say, don't even start, I will puke.
When you're about to talk?
when I start talking, I start making, leadership statements because I'm so passionate about them and I want them to hear. I didn't understand about connecting, but I was a leader growing up, so that really messed with my self-esteem. But I'm so grateful about that because it is the weights that you don't go to the gym for the weights to cooperate with you. You want them to resist you. And if they resist you, that's when you build muscle. And if you don't have weights that are resisting you, you won't build muscle. And if someone says something about you, someone speaks negative about you, that's actually fertilizer to you. You're a tree growing, right? So that kept me going, knowing that I'm gonna prove to you that I'm a leader, right? And I believe I'm a leader. And now she believes I'm a leader, right? And I love her so much. She has been part of my growth. So that really messed with my self-esteem. But I decided to put away the negative thinking and work myself from the inside out, because what I was trying to do is seek validation from her, and then I was putting up a face. So I was working myself from the outside in. There's an African proverb that says, if there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. So I started working myself from the inside out. My favorite book says, be not conformed to the pattern of this world, but be renewed by the transforming of your mind. So I've been transforming my mind every day, because you have to put away that negativity. Society, you asked about society. Society is so negative that it focuses on what you cannot do rather than our potential, and then you never know your true potential.
So it's all in the mind.
It's all in
regardless.
the mind.
It's all in the mind. And one of the things I really loved about you is you're not afraid to share your dark moments with people. Like when you go through something, like most of the time what we see on social media is the highlight, but for you, you're not afraid to share the dark moments, just to show people that I'm human. Yes, I have good times and bad times. Why do you think most of us do not like sharing those moments, and what gives you that courage to show your vulnerability as a human being, even as a leader?
So I think people are afraid of sharing their dark moments because of judgment. That's very simple to know, right? But you have to own your own story, right? For me, I share my dark moments because that's when I know my true friends. That's when I know who the people in my life are, and I get to see how they can influence me in my dark moments. I have friends who know my darkest moments. I have friends who support me through them, because you need people to support you. Everybody says no man is an island, right? So you can't walk alone, right? You can't walk alone. And when you're talking to people, you have to share the dark moments, right? You have to share the dark moments. But the problem now is that society has tries to find, you see, when you share your dark moments, you're vulnerable. Exactly. And then they use that against you. His name is Dr. Carter G. Woodstone, who was, Les Brown says that he's the most profound thinker he's ever read. He says, if you can determine what a man shall think, you never have to concern yourself with what he will do. If you can make a man feel inferior, you never have to compel him to seek an inferior status, for he will seek it himself. And if you can make a man feel justly and outcast, you never have to compel him to go through the back door. He will go without being told. And if there is no door, his very nature will demand one. So you have to start to ask yourself, who am I? MIT did a study, and he said, if you tell me you can't do it, I have to come back and tell you, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it, you can 17 times to neutralize that one time.
Wow.
So you have to be very cognizant of people who will put you down, and you have to be very careful to grow through sharing your darkest moments, because you have to share them so that you can grow through them.
Yeah. And you don't feel like when you share it makes you less, because in the African way of bringing up children, we are taught men be strong, kulia achia wanawake. So like it doesn't make you feel less, like you're being less of a man by just being vulnerable.
I've said this a lot in my interviews, that men who don't cry, they are not confident enough to cry.
Now, as a leader, what advice would you give to other leaders out there about just being vulnerable, just being open and honest with the people that you're leading?
Yeah. As I said earlier, connecting is the ability to identify and relate with people in such a way that increases your influence with them. How will you connect with people and increase your influence if you're not relating with them? People have to feel like you feel them, right? They have to get to a place where they have a look and feel, and they say, I feel that leader. You know, I want to be associated to that leader. And so for me, the advice that I would give any leader listening right now is be yourself, you know, be yourself. And leaders walk slowly through the crowd. So when you are talking to your people, be very intentional and listening to them. And then share your story with them, you know. Never make a point without a story, and never make a story without a point.
That's deep.
Yeah, that's Les Brown. Les Brown says never make a story without a point. And never make a story without a point, and never make a point without a story.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's through showing them that you're human and you're going through the same struggles with them that they're able to trust you, even with their own issues.
And then showing them that we are all equal.
Yeah.
We are all equal. It's just that we are different. We have different amount of knowledge of things, you know. We have different amount of money. We have different amount of clothes. You know, that's you know. So we are all equal. But we are different.
That is very important. Now, it's been awesome having you here, Joel. And just the last statement, like, what would you tell our viewers, like a parting shot with them?
Okay. I will leave you all with the words of Howard Thurman, who was one of the mentors of Martin Luther King and Mahatma Gandhi and Albert Schweitzer. He says there is a presence in each and every one of us that waits and listens for the voice of the genuine within us. It will be perhaps the only guide you'll ever have or hear. And if you don't hear it, all of your life will be spent at the end of strings that somebody else pulls. You know, once you recognize that greatness, no one can ever pull your strings, because you are different. You are created on purpose, with a purpose, to manifest that purpose, and through you, to exercise authority and dominion over everything on the face of the earth. The last thing is, you'll never have authority and dominion until you exercise authority and dominion over what you are not. Because most people go through life living a lie that has been told about them. And you're encouraged, as we said earlier, be not conformed to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That is deep.
Yeah.
It is a great parting shot.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sticking with us up to this point. This is TrackMind TV, and this has been the Flashpoint Show, where we have real, candid, and transparent conversation. Please subscribe to our channel and leave us a comment. I've been your host, Grace Kathomi. Thank you.